All right, so in this fourth week, we'll be dealing with retail lecture and summarized spoken text. So how many of you are aware of these two? How many of you have heard these two question types? Any idea what retail lecture is? Any idea what summarized spoken text is? So some of you who have attended our previous sessions will be knowing what exactly retail lecture and summarized spoken text is. But yeah, I will take you through that as well. So summarized spoken text is a component within listening section. So all of you, I hope all of you understand that you have 4 sections in PTE, that is speaking, writing, reading, and listening. Now, summarized spoken text is a question that appears within the listening section. It's a very important question type. It contributes marks not just towards listening section, it also contributes marks towards your writing section. This is known as an integrated task. So what is the task here? You will basically listen to a lecture. So that lecture is typically about 60 to 90 seconds duration. And right after the lecture, you will have to write a 50 to 70 words summary of what you have heard. Is this clear to all of you? To summarize spoken text, we will refer to this as SST. To summarize spoken text is a question type that appears within the listening section. But don't be under the impression that it only contributes to listening points. It also contributes to writing points, because you are doing 2 tasks here. You are listening to the lecture first, and then you are writing a summary, 50 to 70 word summary. And for this entire task, you will be given 10 minutes. That is listening to the lecture as well as writing a summary, 50 to 70 word summary. Is this clear to all of you? So I would request you to actively participate by saying yes, no, ask questions in between, stop me in between. All right, super. Now, retail lecture. Now, retail lecture is a question that appears within the speaking section. So here also, there are 2 tasks. You will listen to a lecture, again, a 60 to 90 seconds lecture, typically, okay, 60 to 90 seconds lecture. And right after the lecture, you will have to speak what you have heard. You basically have to summarize, but here you are not writing anything, you are speaking. Now, this is again an integrated task, because you are doing 2 tasks here. You are listening to a lecture first, and then you are speaking about that lecture. So it contributes marks towards both speaking and listening section. Is this clear to all of you? Right? So in short, what you can say is, summarize spoken text, you listen to a lecture, you write a summary. In retail lecture, you listen to a lecture, you speak. And you will be given about 40 seconds to record your response. All right. Now, in the previous week, we were dealing with other speaking type question types. So what are the 2 things that you have to keep in mind when you are within the speaking section? So whenever you are doing any question within the speaking section, you have to understand one thing. You have to focus more on delivery. Now, what do you mean by focusing more on delivery? In speaking section, understand the objective of speaking section. So the objective of speaking section is to test how well you can speak, whatever the content be. All right. So that is why in speaking section, it's okay even if you make few mistakes here and there with regards to content. All that matters is how well, how confidently and clearly you can speak. So what you have to ensure is you have to ensure 5 C's. So students who have attended our previous session will be knowing what these 5 C's are. So response should be, your response should sound confident. It should be clear. You should be calm and comfortable throughout the delivery of your speech. And then what else? Anyone who attended our previous session? So your response, you should be confident, you should be clear, you should be calm and comfortable. You should be delivering at the correct pace. Correct pace as in, sometimes students, what they do is, sometimes test takers, if they are nervous, they may stop in between, they may slow down, they may go fast. So no, you have to speak at the correct pace throughout speaking section. What is the other C? Content. Content, you can include content, but more than content, there is something else. Confidence, we have already covered, Amir. Communicative. Your speech should sound as if you are communicating to someone. So right now I am communicating to you. Right now I am trying to explain it to you. All right. So if you maintain these 5 C's, you more or less will end up in a very good score in speaking section. Now, I'm not saying that content does not matter. Content matters. In certain question types, content really matters. For example, you have read aloud where a content is already there and then you are just reading out that text. In repeat sentence also, you are supposed to deliver the right content, more or less. But more than content, these, if you can maintain these things, then you will be able to score really well in speaking section. So is this clear to all of you? Yes, no? All right. So what are we talking about? We are talking about retell lecture question type. Whereas in summarize for context, you are writing a summary. So in summarize for context, it's a listening plus speaking, listening plus writing question type. So here you have to focus on content. You also have to focus on writing meaningful sentences. I have a very bad handwriting, so let me know if this is legible. Are you guys able to read what I'm writing here? Yes, no? All right, super. So in summarize for context, it's a listening plus writing component. You have to give weightage to content. You have to give importance to content. You have to write meaningful sentences. Minimal grammatical errors, with minimal grammatical errors. Okay, so what do you mean by minimal grammatical errors? You understand that all your responses throughout all the content, all the sections of PTE is graded by a computer. Okay, now computer understand that it's a logical machine. So which is why when the computer analyzes your speaking components, it will basically look at how well you have spoken, as in whether you stopped in between, whether you fumbled in between. So it's just looking at your audio rather than content. But when you're doing your summarize for context, it will look at your content. It will look at your sentence structuring. Are you writing meaningful sentences? Are you using the correct punctuation? So you should not show those grammatical errors that are easier for a computer to catch. All right. So you should be focusing on writing sentences with minimum grammatical errors. So when I say minimum grammatical errors, end a sentence, always end a sentence with a full stop, start a sentence with a capital letter, and then capitalize when you are using a noun, capitalize the first letter when you are using a noun. So these basic rules, avoid writing run-on sentences. Okay, what do you mean by run-on sentences? Avoid run-on sentences. So run-on sentences are those sentences which never seems to end. So sometimes test takers just keep on writing. There won't be any stop or anything. Okay, so now template, I'm coming to that. I'll take you through all these question types, the strategies, and everything in detail. So this is just a summary of retail lecture and summarized for context. So is this clear to all of you? Yes, no? So I would like to see few more yeses so that I can confidently move forward. All right, super. So in one word, if you have to tell what is the most important thing that you have to focus in detailed lecture, what would be that? So let me just repeat the question. If you are attempting a retail lecture, what is it that you have to always keep in mind? What is it that you have to give importance to? Will you give importance to content, or will you give more importance to content or delivery? Content and delivery both. Yeah. So the reason why I'm again and again bringing up this point of content in speaking section is that because many a times if you worry too much about the accuracy of the content, you may miss out on the delivery. Because for example, let's say I want to give 100% accurate information. So in that process, I may stop in between during my response. I may fumble in between. I may search. I may think in between my response. So all this will affect your delivery, which is why you have to give, whenever you are in the speaking section, give more importance to delivery. Content, even if you make mistakes here and there, it's completely fine. Now coming to summarize for context. In summarize more context, what is it that you have to keep in mind? What is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind? The computer is looking at your written summary. So you should ensure that your content is meaningful. It should contain, or one important thing that I missed out here is, so when I say content, main keywords, okay? So if the topic, if the lecture is about, let's say, a topic in geography, and the whole throughout the lecture that the lecturer talks about geography. So you cannot really afford to miss that word geography. So you have to ensure that the keywords are present in your summary, and then basically writing meaningful sentences with minimal grammatical errors. All right. So is it clear? So shall we move forward? Is this clear to all of you? Yes, no? All right. So typically, So in retail lecture and summarized for context, the input is same. Input as in you are listening to a lecture, a 60 to 90-second lecture. And typically the lecture topics are basically from education, health related topics, arts and entertainment, environment, science and technology, social issues, relationships, business and work, government and law, development issues. So these are, in general, the topics that you can expect in PT Academic, retail lecture or summarized for context. All right, so pretty much because PT Academic is the test that you're giving is PTE-A, PTE Academic. So most of the question types are academic in nature. The lecture that you hear are academic in nature. All right, so I always expect that. Now, what are the best practices that you have to keep in mind when you are attempting a retail lecture or a summarized for context? Listen to the lecture carefully. Prepare your mind for listening. Now, this is very, very important. Usually, if students miss out the initial part of the lecture, they will just give up. So don't do that. You prepare your mind for listening. You should have an intent to understand what the lecturer is saying. If you understand the context, you will be able to frame content. At least you will be able to do 60-70% justice to the content. And that's more than enough to score well in PTE, these question types. So listen to the lecture carefully, prepare your mind for listening. Take notes while listening. So in the actual exam center, you will be given an erasable note pad. So you will be able to take notes. So take notes while you're listening to the lecture. Now, some of you may be really good listeners. So if you think that you are able to, you can do better not by taking notes, it's okay. So this is recommended, highly recommended. But if you believe that taking notes is taking away your concentration, then you can approach just by maybe closing your eyes and then completely listening to the lecture. Taking notes is highly recommended though. Now, when you're taking notes, do not focus on writing all that is mentioned in the lecture. Only focus on writing key points. Make a note of frequently repeated words. So in the previous slide, I explained if the lecturer is talking about geography, let's say multiple number of times, understand that it's a keyword. So that is something that you cannot afford to miss, especially when you're doing SFT, summarized for context, because you are writing it down. And also focus on some numbers, years. Avoid writing words that are not really relevant. For example, introductory words, connecting words, hence, therefore, so, moreover, furthermore. So don't invest a lot of time and energy in writing down those words. Just write down those points, those words that gives you the crux, that gives you the gist of the lecture. Understand the context of the lecture. Now, this is really, really important. What the lecturer is basically talking about. If you have a decent enough understanding of what the lecturer is basically talking about, even if you miss out a lot of portions within the lecture, you still will be able to write meaningful sentences in SST or talk about it quite comfortably. So understanding the context of the lecture is really, really important. Make sure that you have noted down at least 2 key points. If you have noted down at least 2 key points, you will be able to comfortably talk about it for at least 25 to 30 seconds, and that's more than enough in retail lecture. And if you have noted down 2 key points, you will be able to write 50 to 70 words quite comfortably within SST. Okay, so I'm giving best practices for retail lecture and summarized for context, because the input, that is listening to the lecture part is similar to both written lecture and summarized spoken text, which is why I've combined both of these. So let me know if this is confusing. I hope it is not. Follow the rules. In written lecture, you are given 40 seconds to record your response. So right after the lecture is over, you will get about 8 to 10 seconds to prepare. Right after that preparation time is over, the recording time starts. You will be given 40 seconds to record your response, but that doesn't mean that you have to speak for 40 seconds. It is okay even if you speak for about 25 seconds. That's completely fine. But make sure that this 25 seconds is clear, confident, communicative, and you are calm and comfortable throughout while delivering this for the 25 seconds. In SST, make sure that you write between 50 to 70 words. Multiple sentences are allowed. You can write basically 3 to 4 sentences. You will be able to write 3 to 4 sentences. Is this clear to all of you? Yes, no. So I would request all of you to actively participate in chat. You can stop me in between if something is not very clear. You can ask questions in between, relevant questions. So it's very, very important that you deliver. All right, yeah. Super. Now, not taking template. So what are the things that you have to, when you are listening to the lecture, what are the things that you really write down? Okay. So I already mentioned that you should not focus on writing everything that is mentioned. So write down the topic, what the topic is basically about. Is the topic about geography? Is it talking about dowry? Is it talking about developmental issues? Is it talking about government? Is it talking about some problems related to some research? Just write down that topic in 3-4 words. Definitions or problems. Sometimes the lecture, not most of the time, but maybe 60-70% of the time, what you can see is the lecture will be dealing with some kind of definition or problem. So try to write down that definition. Okay. So Talvinder, template again. So we'll come to template. Now let me tell a few things about template. So a lot of people resort to template. Now, if you are aiming for a very good score, that is, if you are aiming for a 79 plus score, template is not the right way to go about it. So if you use template, you will be focusing on a lot of fillers rather than the actual content. So we are talking about delivering it in the best possible way to secure maximum points. All right. So template is just like a skeleton. You just focus on what you have to take down as notes, and then when you are writing it, when you are writing a summary, what are the things that you have to focus on? All right, we will come to that, Talvinder, in a while. What are the other things that you have to note down? Years or timelines. So this will actually help, especially in summarized spoken text. You will be able to write at least one sentence. So if the lecturer specifically talks about a year which is of particular importance, make sure that you note down that, because that could be a keyword. Country or nationalities, an Italian scientist, an English professor, so those things. Words that are repeated frequently, words that are emphasized. Now, coming to summary writing template. So when you're talking about, so once you have noted down the topic, so the topic was basically about, the main topic of the lecture was about, in this lecture, the speaker focused on. So you can always start a summary or a written lecture by using such sentences. Definition or problem. So for example, if the lecturer focused on defining certain problems, you can start by saying that the lecturer basically started off the lecture by defining the terms like so and so were defined. So these dash and dash is basically the things that you have noted down when you heard the lecture. Okay, so the main problem associated with when you're writing about years or timelines, so as early as during the 1970s, since 1970, recently, nowadays, in the coming years, in the near future, by 2025, so try to use such connectors. Again, these will be if you're writing years and if you follow such a template, it will actually help you score really well because you are using it as a collocation as well. Country or nationalities. So in so countries, it was found that in India, a research was conducted by Italian scientists. So this is so basically write down when you're taking notes, take minimal notes because you will, if you have a fair enough idea, then you will be able to construct meaningful sentences with those keywords that you have noted down. So is this clear to all of you? All right, super. So what I want from your side right now is I will be playing an audio. Okay. Now you can practice this as both a practice for written lecture and summarize spoken text. So I want one of you to answer this as a written lecture question and all others can focus on writing a summary of it. And we will review each of those summaries. All right. So who would like to speak? That is, who would like to deliver this as a written lecture component? So we have about 9 to 10 participants. So I would like to know who would like to respond, who would like to speak. I want one of you to volunteer and then tell me that you are comfortable summarizing the lecture and speaking. None of you? Can we have one sample example? Okay, so what I will do is I will just play this audio, and once this audio is over, I will speak. I will basically deliver this as a written lecture component so that you have an idea, and then maybe one of you can speak. Does that make sense? All right, super. So what I will do is I'm going to play this audio. So make sure that you have you have a sheet of paper and pen with you so that you can note down information as and when you hear it. All right, so let me play this audio. So here we go. So listen to the, have an intent to understand what the lecturer is saying. So focus completely. So if you focus completely, you will be able to deliver this quite comfortably. All right, so here we go.
All right, class. Yesterday I told you that we were going to start looking at a field of psychology called developmental psychology. This branch of psychology looks at the many ways people's minds and bodies develop from before they're even born until they die. So we should just start at the beginning, I think. Let's start with infants. So, when a baby is born, up until he or she starts talking, the baby is referred to as an infant. Infants can't do a lot of things that older children can do. Let's look at the physical side of things. Babies are born with really poor vision. Actually, they're legally blind when born. Infants can mostly make out large shapes and stuff, but they can't tell detail. Also, their sense of color isn't very good. For a long time, psychologists thought infants were colorblind right after birth. As it turns out, research has shown that most babies can, in fact, make out bright colors. For example, an infant can tell the difference between a bright red ball and a bright blue ball. But it would be much harder for an infant to tell the difference between a light blue ball and a dark blue ball. Anyway, as infants get older, their sense of sight improves. Some psychologists think that by the age of 6 months, an infant's vision will be almost the same as an adult's.
All of you heard the lecture? Yes, so any of you want to summarize this lecture in speaking? Oh, Raj, all right, super, very good, Raj. So I'm going to unmute Raj. So let's see how Raj is going to deliver this. All right, so all others focus on writing a summary of this. So 50 to 70 words summary. Write 3 to 4 sentences of what you have heard. So we will correct that as well. So Raj, I'm going to unmute you. So here we go. Hey Raj, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Ambrish, thank you.
All right, super. Yeah, so please go ahead.
The lecture is talking about the psychology course. It is related to mental and the body from the person from born to die. It's also talking about the infants who can't see when they are born, not until up to 6 months. They are in poor vision and they can't tell the in details. Later on, they can identify the bright colors. So when they are getting older, more than 6 months, overall, the lecture was very informative.
All right, so fair enough, Raj. Thank you so much. So all of you heard Raj, right? So Raj's response, so Raj initially started by stopping at multiple places, but gradually he was able to deliver it properly towards the end. But make sure that because you are doing your speaking part, you have to focus more on delivery. You have to deliver clean, clear sentences without many breaks. All right, so that is why you have to remain calm and comfortable. So were you calm and comfortable, Raj, when you were delivering it initially? Yeah, so you have to basically, come to that zone where you can comfortably talk about it. You just imagine that you have heard a lecture or whatever I have understood, I'm going to explain it to my friend. So what was the lecture basically about? The lecture was basically talking about a branch of psychology, namely developmental psychology. So Sitikar explains that development psychology is a branch of psychology which deals with how people's mind and body develop as they grow. She specifically takes an example of infants. So she explains that when you are an infant, you are legally blind. You absolutely cannot see anything at all. But as and when you grow, by the time you reach 6 months of age, you will be able to see just like an adult. So if you just say this much, just the gist of it, you will be able to comfortably talk about it for about 20-25 seconds, and that's more than enough. Is this clear? Anyone else would like to retell this lecture? So we have many participants here. Okay, so as mentioned, you can also focus on writing a summary. So let's look at the summary as well. So, okay, so Amir, I'm coming to that. So Amir has written. So I would request all others to also write a summary so that I can give you a review. So let's look at Amir's summary and see how well he has written this. Okay, so first of all, do you think it's 50 words? I don't think so. That's it. Yeah. So this is like 21 words, Amir. So you have to write at least 50 words. So the lecture talks about developmental psychology of people across age and explains in detail on how they develop at each stage. So very clean sentence, but you need to write more. It's not asking you to write a one sentence summary. It's asking you to write a summary which is 50 to 70 words. So would you be able to write more? Would you be able to add more information, Amir? So I want others also to participate. So if you don't participate, I mean, you should participate. There is no other way. So in the actual exam, after listening to the lecture, you will still have about 8 minutes or so to completely write a summary. So you can take your time and let me know once you're done. Okay, so we have. So shall I add this as your continuation, Amir? Okay, so this is like 61 words we have here. Okay, so the lecture talks about developmental psychology of people across age and explains in detail how they develop at each stage. Okay, the lecture talks about developmental psychology of people across. Oh, okay, no. So you are basically starting from here. So you still have only 42 words with example of infants who are born legally blind but are able to develop it completely within 6 months. Henceforth, on how they develop at each stage. So this is a very good summary if there was no such constraint. Since the rule here is that you have to write 50 to 70 words, you basically have to explain a bit more. Yeah, Ganesh, you did not write a summary. So could you please share your summary? Okay, fine. So next time you can, for the next one, you can write. So I'm waiting for a few more summaries. Amir, you can work on this. Can you look at it once again and see if you can explain this in a bit more detail? This is a very good summary, Amir. So good job, but you will have to follow the rules as well. The problem here is you were trying to write entirely in one sentence. You can think of breaking even this part in multiple sentences. If you do that, you will be able to even easily write more than 60 words. Okay, so we have Amir's response here. Let's look at Raj's response. So Amir, I would encourage you to come up with a bit more, or maybe modify the existing summary so that you can actually write a bit more. Let's see. Okay, so the lecture was about psychology. Basically, it is explaining about mental psychology, which deals with not only the mind but also the body. The talk delineates about the infant's vision, which is like color blindness, and will improve gradually in course of time. In the course of time, the infants can see clearly when they are more than 6 months old. Now this is 57 words, so fair enough. The lecture was about psychology. Basically, now there is one major problem with this summary. One major issue. So when you are writing summary, I told you about the importance of keywords, right? So the entire lecture was talking about what? So Amir has given that keyword. So the lecture was about psychology. What psychology? The lecture was about developmental psychology. So developmental psychology is a keyword here. Okay, developmental psychology is a keyword here. So because the whole lecture was talking about developmental psychology, you cannot really afford to miss that particular word. Basically, it is explaining about mental psychology, which not just deals with mind, but also the body. There is some correction that you can think of here in this part. The talk delineates about the infant's vision. So when you are writing infant's vision, we are talking about a possessive noun. So infants, because it's plural, you will have to put a apostrophe after S. Infant's vision, which is like color blindness. Again, this part is not grammatically correct, which is like color blindness. So what exactly you meant there, you have to maybe correct this part, which is like color blindness, and will improve gradually in the course of time. This is fair. Infants can see clearly when they are more than 6 months old. Good. So the underlined portions, you have to basically correct. The grammar part, you have to correct. This is clear, Raj? Okay, so I think Galaxy. Okay, it would be great if you can, write down when you enter the session, you can, enter your actual name. Otherwise, I will have to use such crazy names. Galaxy. Okay, so the lecture was about psychology. The speaker firstly provided information on red ball, green ball, and yellow ball. Furthermore, he mentioned people, college, and students. Finally, he concluded that point. Now, there are multiple issues with this kind of summary. So, see, again, if you are aiming for a very good score, you will get some points here, okay, because partial grading is there. But then there are two things that are missing here. One is the content, as in the crux, the gist of the lecture. Plus, you have not written more than 50 words. Okay, so you gave a lot of importance to red ball, green ball, and yellow ball, where it was just an example that was provided. You have to basically write summaries that covers the gist of the lecture. That's very, very, very important. Okay, so Amir, let me just come back to your what you've written. So let me just change this. Lecture talks about developmental psychology. So Amir, you really don't have to capitalize D here. So you can just put small d over here, because these are simple things that also matters. Something that computer can easily catch. Lecture talks about developmental psychology of people across age. It starts with an example where they explain in detail about infants who, as per the psychologist spelling is wrong, who, as per the psychologist, are born legally blind but are able to develop their sight completely like adults within 6 months. 6 months, perfect. Thus, they are able to explain the development factor at each stage of growth. Very good summary, Amir. So the sentences, Amir's sentences are very clean. He has written meaningful sentences with minimum grammatical errors, and he also ensured that he is talking about the completing from start to end. He's talking about it like a story. This is really good work, Amir. If you can write such sentences in the actual exam also, you can actually score a really good score in summarized for context. So is this clear to all of you? So if you look at Amir, so Amir's response, he has not even used any template. He is not using any fillers. Okay. Now that's the ideal situation where you have completely understood the lecture and then you can talk about it without using any fillers. Now sometimes the lecture that you hear, you may not have understood it completely, or maybe the accent is very difficult for you to understand. So in such cases, you can resort to fillers just so that you can actually write more than 50 words. So for example, the lecture was about, basically it is explaining about the talk delineates about. So these are fillers which you could use. Okay, but make sure that you are writing meaningful sentences. Keep it simple. You're trying to always understand that whenever you are writing something, whether it is a summary, essay, or whatever, always understand that there is a reader for it. So you are writing basically for some reader, and the reader should understand whatever you have written without any jump in the meaning. So whatever you are trying to communicate, the reader should be able to understand it in one shot. Is this clear to all of you? So we have seen some very good examples. Super. All right. So we have, are you guys ready for the next one? So I want more participation this time. A lot of you were not really, showing your summaries or talking about it. Next one, I want some of you to actually give a lecture. So Amir, would you like to deliver your retail lecture next one? I would really like to see how you speak. So that, super, very good. This is the transcript of what we have just heard. So I'm going to play the next audio. So I want all of you to listen to this carefully. Okay, have an intent to understand what the lecturer is saying. And right after the lecture, I will open Amir's mic so that Amir can respond to that as a retail lecture component. All right. And then others can focus on writing a summary. Is this clear to all of you? Yes, no? All right, super. So here we go.
Now, Professor, recently you wrote a letter to a leading national newspaper complaining about falling standards in both written and spoken language among students, even graduates, and saying that you deplore the way English is being debased by change and dumbing down.
Yes, I said that standards are falling and that very few graduates these days can write a comprehensible essay. Their grammar and syntax is all over the place. And I do have certain regrets over the way some words have now become unusable in their full meaning because they've been sloppily misused by those who should know better, such as journalists. So because they use, say, enormity to mean something very big instead of something very wicked, I can no longer use the word in its correct sense without being misunderstood. And there are hundreds of other cases like this. But, of course, language changes and meanings shift and change emphasis, and it's as useless to complain about that as it is to moan about the weather. The point I was making was that at the earliest possible level, children should be made familiar with the basics of grammar and syntax, how to put sentences together, and so on. But I'm not suggesting going back to the days when, as I did, you had to analyze sentences in minute detail as if you were doing Latin. Though, of course, there is something to be said for having that kind of detailed understanding of the language.
All right, Amir, so I'm going to open your mic. Could you please unmute yourself, Amir? Hey, Amir, can you hear me? Amir, we can't hear you. Yeah, could you please speak something, Amir?
Hello.
Hey, Amir, yes.
Hello.
Hey,
I'm
Amir.
audible?
Yes, Amir, you are audible.
Hello.
Yes, Amir, you are
Hello.
audible. Please go ahead, Amir. All right, so let me just mute Amir. Anyone else would like to deliver this as written lecture? Elishma, how about you? It's okay. So in written lecture, you have this flexibility. You can make mistakes. So don't be shy. Ganesh, how about you? Yeah, Amir, we were able to hear you, but then I think you were not able to hear us back. Arshbir, I know Raji is always ready, so I'm just waiting to see if someone else can respond. Else, I will ask Raj to respond. All right, Raj, I think it seems that you are the only one who is confident here. All right, so let me just unmute you, okay? Go ahead, Raj.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you listen to me?
Yes, absolutely. Please go ahead.
All right. All right. The lecture was about the letter, which is regarding the complaint in a national newspaper. It's regarding the English being misused, and there were lots of grammar and accent mistakes, which is prevailing all over in the language. It is basically misused in by the journalist, and it needs to be used correctly. They can understand that the language can be changes, but it should be familiar with the grammar and all the details. Understanding should be in the language. Overall, the lecture was very informative regarding the English grammar. Thank you.
All right, Raj. Thank you so much. Yeah, see, the good thing about Raj is he's always ready. That is one important quality that all of you should have. And then, because in the actual exam also you will be having, in the actual exam center, you will have people sitting next to you, and all of them will be doing the taking section at the same time. So if you have already practiced it in a group or something, it gives you an immense confidence. All right. So I'm not saying these responses are perfect, but this is the path towards perfection. Now, is there anything wrong with Raj's content? There is absolutely nothing wrong with the content. But with regards to delivery, that he needs to, you need to polish a bit more so that the sentences flow a bit more freely, smoothly. Okay, and that comes with practice, Raj. So you are almost there. So I can see that improvement as well. So it's really coming up really well. So I would request all of you. So what was the lecture about? So the lecture was basically about two people. So one person was interviewing the other person about a recent article that he has written about English changes in English language. So he explains that how English language has degraded over a period of time. he also explains that students won't be able to write proper sentences or construct proper sentences without making a grammatical error. So he kind of understands how the language has changed over a period of time and how these are all acceptable. But still, he feels that from an early age, students should be taught the basic syntax of grammar. So this is the whole crux of the lecture. So if you just close your eyes and kind of understand, okay, this is what the lecturer has taught and this is what I have understood, and I'm going to explain this to my friend. So how will I explain this to my friend? If you just come to that zone, you will be able to deliver it quite comfortably. Okay, so speaking is speaking is really easy if you practice it out that way. Okay, and again, it's about getting the feedback and then correcting yourself. So Raj is attending our session for the past 3-4 weeks, so he is getting regular feedback that way. So you can also log into our website and then attempt few tests and then get a personalized feedback from there as well. All right, now I would request all others to write a summary of what you have heard. So I can see Ganesh response, but I will wait for 3-4 minutes more so that I can look at other responses as well. So Ganesh, this is 49 words. If you want to add one more, you can actually do that. All right, so take your time, please write a summary. I would request all of you to participate. All right, so we have 2 more responses here. Let me see. Okay, now I think Ganesh has exceeded the word count. Okay, so this is basically Elishma. Yeah, Elishma, you have written 74 words. Okay, but yeah, I mean, this is, I'm pretty sure that you are not able to understand the word count because you are writing in the chat window. That's fine. It's easier to cut sentences. So let's look at Raj. Okay. All right, so Amir did not write this one. All right, fine. So let's look at. Oh, okay. So Lishma, you want me to review this one? All right, fine. So let me just change. Okay, fine. So let's look at Ganesh response first. Okay, so we have Amir also. Amir at 44 words, but yeah, again, let's start. So Ganesh, the lecture talks about falling standards in spoken and written language. So spoken and written language, you really have to capitalize these two? Not really. So you can write it in small letters. He emphasizes on the need for introduction of importance of grammar and syntax correction. Grammar spelling is MAR, okay, and syntax correction at early stage of education. Was able to justify it by example of graduates not able to write proper essays and decline in the way few words have been made unusable in their actual meaning. Okay, so your sentences are clean and the first two sentences are good. But then, the last sentence, I think I'm not very sure if you really, were able to communicate what you exactly wanted to say. So just look at this portion. So he was able to justify it by the example of graduates not being able to write proper essays and decline in the way few words have been made unusable. And decline in the way few words have been made unusable is something that you have to really check whether you really meant this. Or he was able to justify it by giving the example of graduates not being able to write proper essays. He is also unhappy, or maybe you can also say that he is also unhappy with the way few words have been made unusable in their actual meaning. Yeah, you're still fairly within your word limits. All right, so you have to correct your grammar as well. Very minor grammatical error, but again, something that you can easily correct when you do the proofreading. So is this clear, Ganesh? The lecture talks about falling standards in spoken and written language. Okay, so these are something that computer can easily catch. These capitalization issues. Emphasizes on the need for importance of introduction of grammar. Introduction of this is not really needed here. Introduction of grammar and syntax correction at early stages of education. Was able to justify it by showing an example of graduates not being able to write proper essays. He's also unhappy with the way few words have been made unusable in their action. This is very good. Okay, let's look at Elishma. The lecture talks about following English language standards among students. He also points out that even graduates have issues of writing comprehensive sentences using correct grammar and syntax. It has also been difficult to use certain words as some people might use it in other ways, making it difficult to understand. Languages change over time, but students have to learn the basics of grammar and syntax. Perfect. Very good, Elishma. Superb. So these are like very, very clean sentences that fetches maximum points. Very good job, Elishma. Raj, the debate was about a letter which was published in a national newspaper. They were talking about the English grammar. So grammar sentence, you have to correct the spelling. That was being misused mainly by the journalists. Problem was basically not only in grammar but also in the accent. The focus on English that needs to be used correctly and detailed understanding of grammar. So Raj, yeah. So as you have seen, with respect to the other summaries, so there are some points that are missing in your summary. So you need to work on that. So you need to focus a bit more on the lecture and then come up with more main ideas. Okay, so I'm not very sure if you were able to really, completely listen to this lecture. So you have to come up with more points. Clear, Raj? Amir, the discussion is about following standards of spoken and written language. From example, we understand that graduates are unable to write proper essays and few words are now unusable. Hence, the need to train students from early stages on grammar. Hence, the need to train students from early age stages on grammar and syntax. So is this a complete sentence? Amir? Others can also respond. How many of you think that's a complete sentence? Hence, they need to train the students. Yeah. Or you can say, hence, there is a need to train students from early stages on grammar and syntax. Or you can even say, there is a need to train students if you really want to, work on the word count. So right now it is only 46. Yeah, but again, this is again a very good summary. Understand that writing less than 50 words, you will still get points. But if you are writing less than 50 or more than 70, points will be deducted. Okay, which is why it's extremely important that you limit the number of words as prescribed as 50 to 70 words. Is this clear to all of you? All right. So summary, when you're writing summary, you have to focus basically on writing clean, meaningful sentences with minimal grammatical errors. When I say grammar, you don't have to be really finicky about grammar. You don't have, because there are like umpteen grammatical rules. So even your one lifetime wouldn't be enough to understand all those grammar rules. All right. But understand that you should make sure that you're not showing computer those errors that computer can easily catch. Okay. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. All right. So are you guys up for another practice question? Yes, no? Or I will direct you to our website where you will be able to practice more. Okay, so all of you are ready to go with one more. So let's do that. So here is your third one. So this time I wouldn't be asking any of you to respond to it, because written lecture you will have to practice. Right now I can see that most of you are shy. You don't want to respond. Raj is the only one who is confident in speaking. So I would request all of you to maybe log into our website and then attempt a PTA diagnostic test, so that we will be able to review your performance there and give you a personalized feedback. Okay, so for now, let's focus on summarize spoken text, that is writing a summary. That's fine, Elishma. The only way you improve your speaking is by speaking. You speak, you understand the mistakes, and then you correct these mistakes. All right. Yeah. So right after this discussion of this question, I will share a few links. I will also share a our Sunday learning session offer. So you will be able to view all those. So first let's focus on this part. So here we go. All right.
I became interested in, what would you call it, the behaviour, the psychology perhaps, of crowds after getting caught up, quite by accident, in a demonstration that turned into a bit of a riot. You may have seen it on the news not long ago. What interested me was, first, my own reactions to the way the whole mood changed from peaceful demonstration to violence. Secondly, I wondered if everyone else was feeling the same as I was, and what that said about us and how we behave in crowds. Why is it that perfectly ordinary, respectable members of the public can start behaving in ways they wouldn't dream of doing when at home or among friends? A crowd, it seems to me, has a collective mind. Each person there adds his or her mind to the collective mind and willingly gives up all sense of judgment and responsibility. It gives you, I suppose, a feeling of freedom, of not having to be in control. It allows you the freedom, or you allow yourself the freedom, to behave in ways that, if asked, you would say were against your principles, or made you feel guilty in some way, even criminal.
All right. So your time starts now. You can start writing summary. Hey, Amir, sorry, it will be paid only once. Okay, because in the actual exam also you only get one chance. You won't be able to pay it once again. So I'm waiting for what you could do is actually you can look at others summarize summarize for context responses, and maybe find mistakes. Now that's a very important skill to have, especially when you are reviewing an open-ended question type. You need to be good at proofreading. Okay. Okay, so I have first response here, so I would request others also to post your answers. Let's look at Ganesh's response. Here we go, Ganesh. I'm waiting for other responses. So in the meantime, I will just go through Ganesh's response. So Ganesh, 51 words, okay. So the speaker talks about behavior change in people during demonstrations from peaceful to violent in matter of time. The speaker talks about behavior change in people during demonstrations from peaceful to violent in matter of time. The speaker herself is able to relate to her own change of perception in the same way like others, and was able to point out at the reason for such change in behavior. So this is fair enough, Ganesh, but you need to add a few more details. It should sound like a complete story. So as a reader who has not gone through the lecture, if I am reading it, I still see some missing links. Okay, so that is why, maybe if you can add one more sentence to. Okay, Ganesh, understood. Yeah. All right. So you understood the point, right, Ganesh? Because you have written a very good summary for the previous one. So I want you to understand this completely. But sentence-wise, it's good enough. But content-wise, you have to add a few more. So, Elishma. Okay, let's look at Elishma's response. The lecture talks about the psychology of people in crowds. Very good, clean sentence. She is quite keen to know why people go from peace to violent and change their mood completely. She is quite keen to know why people go from peace to violent. Peace to violent. So maybe you can come up with better construction there. To change their mood completely. She has highlighted that people behave differently in crowds when they are alone in home. She has highlighted that people behave differently in crowds and when they are alone at home. Okay, it may be because of the collective mind that is present in crowd and freedom of not being controlled over where they are alone. Okay, so fair enough. Sentences are clean enough, but this is good enough. Okay, so this is good enough. But do you think, Elishma, do you think that you can actually write somewhat better? Just a question, okay? Yeah, so you yourself felt that, right? Yeah. So yeah, it is the same point. Maybe you can write it in a much better and explicit way, the way you have written your previous summary. So everything is there, but still I feel that maybe these sentences you could have written in a bit more better way. All right. So Raj. Let's look at Raj's response. Okay. Lecture was talking about the psychology of the crowd. She was giving the example of an accident which turns into riot, and the reactions are transformed from peaceful to violent. She also explains about why the crowd behave in such a way, even it is a collective mind. In such a way, even it is a collective mind. Okay, so I'm just underlining those portions where you have to see whether there is a problem and tell me what exactly that is. Others can also pitch in. The crowd often gives their judgments and freedom that usually goes against people's principles. The crowd often gives their judgments and freedom that usually goes against people's principles, judgments and freedom. Fair enough. So yeah, so this is a good sentence, but I'm not very sure if you really meant to say judgments and freedom. Gives their judgments and freedom. So judgments make sense, but freedom I'm not very sure. So again, this is a much better response than the previous one, Raj. It's just that, at a couple of places you have to, see whether the sentences are correct. Should be when instead of even. In such a way, when it is a collective mind. Okay, she also explains why the crowd behave in such a way when it is a collective mind. Yeah, makes sense. Yes. Yeah, so proofreading skill has to be like really good, because I am very sure that most of you will be able to correct a lot of mistakes yourself. Okay, so Raj, that's a good thing. Here also you can maybe work on correcting that part. 65 words. Good. So we have Amir as well. So let's look at Amir's response and then see how good we are. Oh, you use others' response. Okay. So this may be a combination of all Ganesh, Elishma's and Raj's response. So let's see. Okay, the speaker talks about a behavior change in people during demonstration from peaceful to violent in matter of time. Okay, the speaker herself is able to relate her own change of perception in the same way like others in a crowd. Okay, so articles is something that you have to keep in mind. Okay, a and the. Okay, these are things that is really important, in especially because it's a computer graded exam. A and the mistakes we should try to avoid. She was able to point that difference in people's behavior at home. She was able to point at the difference in people's behavior at home versus when they were in a crowd. She was able to point the reason for such change in behavior to collective mind. Yeah, again, so I mean, this is partly because you have not read it, you have not heard the lecture yourself. So some, again, missing link is there. But I hope all of you got a fair enough idea of what exactly needs to be done. Most of you were able to write perfect summaries for the previous lecture. So this one, I think, you took lesser time, but you were able to still write good sentences. So Elishma has come up with a revised version. So let's see. So let's share it. Okay, so the lecture talks about psychology of people in crowds. She is interested to know how people suddenly change their moods. People often behave differently in crowds than they would have when they are alone. This might be the result of collective minds which help them to take all sorts of judgment when they are in crowds. People may behave against the principles when in crowds. Fair enough. Very good summary, Elishma. This is what I was talking about. So it's much more readable. So as a reader who has not gone through the lecture, this makes it even more easier for me to read and understand it in just one shot. So such should be your sentences. Okay. Good job, Elishma. All right, super. So let me just quickly wind up this session. So let me also show you some of the some important links. Let me just try to read this. So here we go. All right, so all the relevant links are there in the chat. So we have a live session calendar, which you will be able to see when you go to the blog section. And for session attendees, we have a special offer. So we are giving all the content that is there in our website, which consists of about 13 full-length mock tests and 250 plus tests that targets all the 20 question types. So for session attendees, we are also giving free evaluation of 2 full-length mock tests. And then you can also, so this is our website link, fountainheadprep.com. You can also download our app, which I think most of you must have. You can also follow us on our social media for updates and offers. So we have relevant links there as well. And if you have any queries, please feel free to WhatsApp. So this is our WhatsApp number, or you can even email to us, that is team@fountainheadprep.com. So do you have any doubts from today's session? Or was it all clear to all of you? Thank you, Elishma. Thank you, Ganesh. So I would request you to either go through our previous sessions. So that's all in YouTube. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to see all those sessions. So you can also see some of the sessions our students have scored perfect kindly. So you will be able to see those videos as well in YouTube. All right. So see you all next Sunday. And I would request all of you to look at these links that we have provided. So especially if some of you are shy to respond, you can actually get access to our content and then maybe apply for evaluation there so that we can look at it. All right, so I wish you all a happy weekend, and then let's meet again next Sunday. Goodbye.